YouTube Live, and today I'm going to show you how I made a card with the, I got things set all sorts of crazy, with the St. Nicholas stamp set bundle, and a little bit of the Traditions of St. Nick Designer Series paper, which is one of the new papers that is available as an online exclusive from Stampin' Up! While supplies last. So you can find it out in the online exclusive section. I'm going to scooch my camera down just a smidge. Online exclusive section of the online store. So so you can find it out there. Just go take a peek and you'll see it's out there and available, and it's really cool. So, hey, Robin and Pam, thanks for joining today. I appreciate you being here. It looks like Karen's here as well. So this is a card we're going to be making today. It's super simple, actually. And it's not even difficult. The only tedious part of it is cutting all the little pieces out and kind of sticking them together. Other than that, it's a super quick and easy card, just a couple layers, add a sentiment, and then the inside of the card is the only stamping that I even did on it. The rest of it is all die cuts and Designer Series paper. So that's awesome. Hey, Mary Ruth, thanks for joining. And Sherry's here as well. All right, so that's the card we're making. This is the St. Nicholas stamp set. It is in the new September to December 2023 mini catalog from Stampin' Up! And it's got just some really good kind of traditional St. Nicholas images in it for Christmas. And so I've got some good sentiments in it as well. I see Julie and Jackie and Linda and Danette are here. So there would be lots of coloring if I were not the lazy stamper that I am and just cut it out of the Designer Series paper. So I almost hate to tell myself, but that's what I did. I totally did not color it at all. So anyway, I'll show you what I did. I'll show you how I cut it out, but it's super simple. So, hey, Sally, thanks for joining. So that is the stamp set. I'm going to set that aside, and then, well, I guess I shouldn't set it aside just yet. Then we've got the dies. These are the St. Nicholas dies. Hey, Marilyn, thanks for joining. So there's the two larger Santa dies here that you can cut out the stamped images with, and then we've got the little bag image that you can also cut out. The little mailbox die is here. And then this one cuts out the little cookies and the drink and the candy cane. So it's a good set of dies. And then obviously there are a lot of accessory dies, and I used a lot of the accessory dies today. I'll show you what I do with them, how I put it all together, but it's really, like I said, quick and easy to use. All right, let me set this aside and grab a couple things here. Before we get going, special release, I already talked briefly about the new Designer Series paper, the one that I'm using today, which is the Traditions of St. Nick. Stampin' Up! Has 5 new Designer Series papers that they have as a special release. They started on the 6th of September, and they are available now while supplies last in the online store, in the online exclusives section of the online store. So that is where you can find these. They have the tartan foil, which is beautiful foil paper, and kind of the plaid images on it. And then we've got some delightful floral Designer Series paper. And this one actually coordinates with the translucent floral stamp set bundle. I think I got the name right finally after fumbling over it like 3 times. and the dies for that stamp set actually coordinate with some of the designs in the Designer Series paper. So again, good coordination with that one. Then we have silver and gold adhesive backs glimmer paper, which is awesome. Who doesn't love things adhesive backed? I do. Okay, I'll admit it. All right. So great for die cutting, great for this time of year with Christmas. You want to cut out sentiments, want to cut out small images. They already have adhesive on the back, which I love. So hey, Kathy, thanks for joining. And then we have the Traditions of St. Nick paper that we're going to be using today. I'll show you a little bit of that. And then the Shining Christmas specialty paper. And this one is kind of a shimmery, shiny, really cute, lots of fun Christmas images in it, Designer Series paper. Again, these are all available while supplies last in the online exclusive section of the online store. So hey, Connie, doing some fall decorating. I feel terrible. I haven't done that at all yet. And I know I should have everything out, but it just has not been on my list of things to get done this week. So when you're done, you can come on over to my house. How does that sound, Connie? And decorate. So, all right, a couple other things. World Card Making Day is Saturday, October 7th. Our team is doing another event. It'll be an all-day long thing out on, we're going to set up a Facebook page. We're going to be going live and doing card making presentations throughout the day. We'll have some fun little giveaways and things. So come join us. As soon as I have all the page all set up and everything ready to roll, I will start inviting people over. But just for now, put it on your calendar, make a note, put a star by it, and say we're going to be going live all day long on the 7th, and it should be a good time. We've done it a couple times in the past, and everyone's really enjoyed it, so hopefully we will again this year. And then speaking of World Card Making Day, Stampin' Up! Is also hosting an event. Ours is kind of going to be in front and behind their event. So their event is going to be from 2 to 5 Mountain Time, which is 4 to 7, I think, Eastern Time. I am so bad at the time zone things. And time zone math while I'm live is definitely not good. So, what if you're closer? Well, West Virginia's not that far, Connie. I mean, it's what? Just a couple, 5-10 hours drive. So, all right. So they're going to be doing a World Card Making Day event as well, where they're going to be making some cards with the circle sayings, earth and textures, and a new heartfelt hexagon bundle. The heartfelt hexagon bundle is one that is from the upcoming January to April 2024 mini catalog. So it's a way sneak peek early on that one. So this is a new bundle that you can order. It's available now for this event. I think once the event ends on the 7th, my guess is that they'll turn it off for ordering again until the beginning of the year when the new catalog comes around. So if you want it, it's a cute bundle, you do want it, go ahead and order it. Let me know if you have questions about that. All the details are actually out on stampinup.com. There's a header that'll run across. You can click on it to register, get all the information and all that stuff. Another thing for me, my Autumn Leaves stamp set bundle, well, stamp set is what I get to put my name on, bundle is available now, and I'm actually going to do a little stamp along event for members of my team, as well as anyone that purchases that stamp set in any way, whether it's the bundle, part of the suite, which I know is not available right now, so don't yell at me. If I could make it be available, I would. But so the bundle, the stamp set, if you order it through me, then you're also going to be invited to come and attend a little stamp along. We're going to make a couple of cards and just do some chatting, and hopefully it'll be fun. So let me know if you have questions about that. And then finally, just another reminder, go take a peek at the online exclusives if you're out ordering and grabbing stuff up. Okay, I think we're ready to start finally after all the yakking. Okay, I started with a real red card base. This one is cut to 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 in the middle. Hey, Nancy, if you bought it through me, you can. Or if you're part of my team, you can. So, all right. So this is a real red card base. And again, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 across the top. You could also use a book fold for this card if you prefer that. If you prefer the 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 card base, scored at 4 1/4, this one will work either way. So it's pretty flexible as far as which type of card base you prefer. I prefer the top fold, so that's why I always do it. So, all right. And then in order to conserve paper, because this one, I'll show you in a second, has all the Santas on it. I actually wanted to just trim off the little bit of the edge so I could save as many of the die-cut Santas as possible, which I know is terrible, but I was trying to conserve paper. Normally, I'm not a conserve paper kind of person, but I wanted to be able to die-cut all the Santas. So I just trimmed off a couple little half-inch pieces of the Traditions of St. Nick Designer Series paper. So again, if you prefer the whole card front be covered by it, you can certainly do that, but I cheated a little because nobody could see it anyway. So I'm going to take a little Stampin' Seal and I'm going to try to get these stuck down kind of straight and hopefully lined up. So again, this is sort of a cheater way that you can make it look like your whole card front is covered with Designer Series paper, when in fact it is not. Let me flip it over and make sure I got it on here. Yep, looks like I got it on fairly straight. And then I'm going to trim off. Hey, Amy and Carol, thanks for joining. All right, we're going to snip that off. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side with my other little strip of Designer Series paper and try to not drive completely off the card base with my snail. Goodness, that hasn't been around for a while. Stampin' Seal. All right, I'm going to flip it over. Ooh, that one's not at all on straight. See if I can get it on here a little better. Yep, that looks better. There we go. And oh, I'm glad you like the little tips. I don't know, I have all kinds of ways to cheat on things. All right, so we've got those stuck down, and again, you won't be able to see that. It'll be all covered by the main focal panel, so nobody will know that we cheated except you and me. So, all right, hey Barbara, thanks for joining. This is a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and I have it cut to 3 5/8 inches by about 5 1/2 inches. And don't call that cheating, you call it smart yes, smart stamping is what I was going for. Not that I'm cheating or I'm lazy. I fully admit I'm a lazy stamper. So, all right, early espresso ink, and this is the large sentiment from the St. Nicholas stamp set. And it says, May the Christmas season fill your home. So that is what I've got. I'm going to ink it up in early espresso. And I'm going to try to stamp it fairly straight. We'll see what I can do here. Crumb cake cardstock, I think I said that already, 3 5/8 by about 4, or by 5.5, I'm sorry. So it'll fit the entire card front, but just be a little narrower. We'll see how I did here. If it's really bad, I'll flip it over and stamp it to the other side. Looks like I got it reasonably straight. I think we're going to go with that. All right, close up that ink pad before I stick my fingers in it. And then I've got a piece of early espresso cardstock that I have cut to about 3 3/4 by 5.5. So these two should layer nicely one on top of the other and have an equal around the edge, equal edge around the edge. Okay. It's going to be one of those days, I can tell already. All right, I'm going to use liquid glue. Normally, I would put it on with Stampin' Seal, but sometimes I find when I'm trying to get it to fit exactly on a panel like this, it's a little easier for me to use liquid glue. As much as I dislike it, I guess it does have its good features, that it gives me just a second to kind of wiggle things around and make sure that everything is straight and even at the top and even at the bottom. All right, I think we've got it stuck down here. I think we've got it as straight as it's going to be. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and reveal. Okay. Oh, reveal. Ah, yes, not cheating, it's revealing. Yes. So, all right, going to use some Stampin' Seal, and we're going to stick this on the card front. Hi, Ursula. Thanks for joining. And unfortunately, I don't have my translate on, so I'm not sure what you're saying, but welcome. I appreciate you being here. So, all right, I'm going to take this, and hopefully you can see that I'm lining it up here about as well as I can on my grid paper. And the reason that I'm doing that is that will help me to get this lined up and straight. So I know I need to be at about the 1/4 inch mark on the right and the left side in order to get it on here straight and even. And hopefully we did that. So, all right, so that's it for the card front. And like I said, nobody can tell that you cheated if you don't want to use the whole piece of designer series paper. So, all right, I've got another little piece of the Traditions of Saint Nick designer series paper. This is cut to about 3/4 of an inch wide by about 3 5/8 inch. So it should fit perfectly if I've cut it correctly right here over the lower area of my crumb cake panel. So I'm going to run probably Stampin' Seal across here twice and make sure I've got it so that it doesn't come undone or peel up in any of the corners. All right, there we go. Got that layer put on, and then I've got a whole bunch of little die cuts that I did ahead of time. So I'm going to dump them out here on the paper and do my best not to lose track of any of them. And I'll tell you and show you which dies I used in order to get all of these cut. Like I said, this is the only part that's kind of a little tedious, a little fiddly about this, is just getting all the die cuts stuck together because they're a little smaller, but they make such a cute scene. It's definitely worth it. So, oh, hey, Rosie, thanks. I appreciate that. So, all right, so I have got pecan pie that I used to cut kind of the frame around the fireplace. So that's this die. I use that to cut this. And we are going to just glue it to this piece that I've cut from Cajun Craze cardstock. And I cut it with this piece. Now, this piece can actually be used to either create the fireplace, or if you want Santa on the rooftop, you can use it as the base of the chimney. So I opted for the inside look, so I'm doing it as a fireplace. So, all right, so again, Cajun Craze pecan pie. And I'm gonna put a little glue. With this die set in particular, there are lots of little holes on here, so don't overload it with glue, otherwise you're going to end up with glue kind of oozing out of places where you might not want it to be. So go a little lighter on the glue for this one if you can, and then we will just stick it together here. And you'll notice I only put the glue around the top part. That gave me lots of wiggle room here along the bottom so that I didn't accidentally glue it to the paper on the background, which liquid glue and I sometimes don't see eye to eye, and sometimes it decides to glue itself to the background and I don't want it to. So, hey Carol, thanks for joining. I'm doing well today. I'm glad you're here, and no worries. So again, this I'm going to take with a little bit of liquid glue. Try not to get too heavy-handed with it. And a little light glue down there on the bottom. And we're going to glue it to the card front. And I'm going to line it up so that the This looks like it's sitting on what to me would be the carpet. I'm not sure that it really is carpet, but that's the look I was going for when I was putting this together. I wanted it to look like it was, you know, in somebody's house. So there you go. All right, got that adhered together. And the next little piece, oh, I thought I'd already lost a piece of it. This piece I actually cut, again, with this very same die from Pebbled Path cardstock. And Ursula's saying, have a nice evening, everyone. Okay, I appreciate that. Like I said, I don't have Translate turned on, and I didn't have an easy way to double check what she'd said. I figured she was saying hello. But all right, so we've got Pebbled Path, and this is, again, the little center out of the fireplace. I believe this die cut actually cuts close to the same thing, but there was a little gap around it that I don't know how well you can see it, but it cuts just inside of what this one cut. I wanted it to look like it was fully filled in, so I opted not to use this die and just went with the larger die and die cut that. All right, gonna add a little liquid glue here. And this one you can glop on as much glue as you want to, because that one shouldn't ooze out anywhere. All right, there we go. Hey, Jackie, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. This is pecan pie, and again, I cut it with this die. So if you wanted to make this look like a chimney, what you can actually do is cut these two pieces from whatever colors you want to. I've seen a lot of them done in the same color, so if you like that look, you can do it, or you can do two different, whatever. And then there is this little die that cuts out what looks like a little snow drift for the top. And I think that one is the same thing. It cuts out a little snow, just a little different look on the snow. So if you want it to look more like a chimney and not a fireplace, it's sort of interchangeable. So you can do that if you prefer the outside Santa look as opposed to the inside Santa look. All right, so I'm going to grab a little bit of liquid glue again and try not to get too heavy-handed on this one. Stick it here to the card front, and I'm going to overlap just a hair at the top to make sure that there's not an open gap. And then I'm going to try to make sure that I get it stuck on here fairly straight. And whether it is or not, that's all right. So, all right, so there we go. Then I cut some little stockings, and those are also in this die set right here from Real Red cardstock. And I guess I should have pulled this out before. This, I think you could use it as like a brick look background if you wanted to die cut it a bunch of times across a piece of cardstock. I just used it as the tops for the stockings. So I cut that out of basic white cardstock, these little tiny little rectangles, and they will fit right across the top of the stockings to make it look like stocking tops. And I know I have a tweezers, there it is. So I know I have a tweezers around here somewhere. I made sure that I put it within reach. So we're just going to take the liquid glue and stick down the little stocking tops. There we go. See, and I've already got glue on my fingers. This is why liquid glue and we are not friends. Somehow I just end up with it, even though I don't mean to, I end up with it stuck to me, and then I stick myself to the card, and I'm always a mess. I try to use glue dots when I can, but a lot of these pieces are a little too small for glue dots, so I'm stuck with liquid glue, and you're stuck watching me stick myself with liquid glue. So there we go. And then one last one here. The little die that I used to cut this does cut 6 of them out, and you only need 4 if you want to use them for the stocking tops. If you want to use them for bricks, you can cut as many as you want to. All right, so got those all stuck together. And then we are just, gonna flip it over and add a little bit of glue to the back of the stockings. It's a cute little die set, and I kind of had to play around, looked at some of the samples in the catalog in order to figure out exactly what every die does. But they're easy to put together once you kind of take a look and figure out what the dies are for. Then you're like, oh, now I get it. So, all right, whoop. See, liquid glue, it is not my friend. All right, let's smoosh and hold it. There we go. I think that's going to stick down. Okay, a couple more little pieces here. I've got, these are little pieces of firewood that I've cut from Early Espresso cardstock, and that is this little die, and it cuts out both pieces at once, so handy little one. And I'm just going to take there's a single piece of wood. I'm just going to put a little glob of glue right in the center of that, and then there's the double piece of wood, and I'm just going to make them into a little X, I don't know if that is campfire-esque or not, but I don't know. It looked sort of, I thought it looked sort of cute. It's kind of campfire-y, kind of, I don't know. Kind of like a fireplace fire, I guess. And then I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue and just put it on the back of this set of die cuts, and we are going to stick that right down here. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I need to put the fire together. So I've cut this from pumpkin pie and this from crushed curry cardstock. And again, it's the same die. So it's this one. It cuts both pieces at once. So I just use the bottom part and I cut the pumpkin pie, and the top part is what I used to cut the crushed curry. And let me grab my tweezers again so I can try not to glue my fingers to the little die cuts. Oh, you haven't seen it be used for the top of the stockings? I don't know, and maybe I wasn't supposed to, but they fit, so I did it. That's my story anyway. All right, a little bit of liquid glue here. And then this does fit pretty well, almost exactly, into the larger die cut. So you kind of just layer them up however it looks good to you. And then smush it down and hold it. There we go. And then we're going to put this inside the fireplace first, and I'll show you why I do that in just a second. So, a little liquid glue. Why I wanted to put the flame in here first is I wanted to make sure that the flame was actually inside the fireplace because it overlaps a little bit when you put the little logs on here. If I had put those in first, then the fire would be on top of the logs or would be sticking out the top of the fireplace. Neither look I really wanted to go for. So that is why I did it the other way around and put the flame in first and then put the little logs in right over the top of the flame, trying to make sure that I'm containing it all and making it look like it's within the fireplace. All right, so there we go. Get your magnifying glass out. Okay, I gotta admit, I've got my old lady glasses on, so I know just what you mean, Rosie. So yeah, this one I definitely couldn't put together without the reading glasses on. So, all right. This is a little wreath that I have cut from Mossy Meadow cardstock. And it's just this little die, and I cut it twice to make two little wreaths, and we're just gonna layer them one on top of the other. And then I'm just gonna center it above my fireplace, stick down the first one, and then grab the second little wreath, and the same thing, just gonna add a little liquid glue on it. And again, try not to get too heavy-handed because there are little kind of embossed slits in the leaves, so you don't want the glue to ooze out everywhere. And then just try to layer it together so that the leaves are slightly offset. And I'm going to hold it for a second and smush it down. There we go. Get rid of these little bricks or stocking toppers or whatever they are. Now comes the really tiny part of it, which is the little berries. So I die cut those from Real Red cardstock with these little, this little die. Now, if you wanted to do something that wasn't quite as little and difficult to keep track of as these little berries, is you can grab just your rhinestones, and they have the tiny little rhinestones in the pack. Color those with your Real Red marker or cherry cobbler or whatever color you want to use, and dark Stampin' Blends marker, and just stick those on here instead of the little die cut berries. So whatever works best for you, you get to pick because it's your card. So. All right, then I'm just going to put a couple little tiny glops of glue here. And I got my Take Your Pick tool. I finally remembered to grab that and keep it handy here. And then we're going to try to stick these down to the card front and not stick my fingers to it instead. See there, I got a little heavy-handed with the glue, but it dries clear, thankfully, and I have a glue eraser so I can pick that up if I need to. I'm just gluing the little berries in pairs here. See, liquid glue and I tell you, we have disagreements sometimes about how much should come out of the bottle and how quickly. Oop, that one's wrong side up. There we go. Oop, okay, come on, little berry. Stick on. And then I've got the, hey, Mary Ellen, thanks for joining. Just in time to watch me, tediously put little berries on. But like I said, it's really quick to do. It's just a matter of, you kind of have to figure out what each little die does, and then once you do, you just stick everything together and try not to glue yourself to the card. And whoop, the last little berry here. And the Take Your Pick tool does definitely make the berry sticking much easier. So it's got the gluey end on it. Mine's kind of matted down and mushed down, but that makes it much easier just to pick it up. You can smush it down and then use your other finger or grab your pointer of your tweezers or snips or whatever, hold it down while you take off the take your pick tool, the sticky part of it. So it's not, I'm glad it's not just me. Liquid glue is, I have never loved it, and I know some people do. I just don't, because I make such a mess. All right, so that is definitely the most difficult part of the card, is getting the little fireplace scene put together. The next part, I will show you my magical coloring skills and how I got Santa to look so nice. I've colored him perfectly because he's totally just cut out of the Traditions of St. Nick Designer Series paper, which I love. So we've got dies here. I have more. Yeah, I know, Carol. Yes, I stick lots of things to the card, or I set my hand down and it's on the side of my hand. Yeah, it's a mess. So we've got the St. Nicholas dies here. And actually, this one cuts out the Santa that faces this way. And then this one, I didn't realize it when I initially looked at it, but this one also cuts out this Santa. So if you want to impress everybody with your amazing coloring skills like mine, just buy a pack of the paper, get your dies out, and die cut the little Santas. So it's, yeah, I was thrilled to find that out. I always love it when they have the die coordination, and I especially love it on these kinds of images that are a little bit more, they're not difficult to color, but it's just a lot of coloring work. And this one, yeah, if you can just get them to do all the work for you, that's awesome. So use them for nails on the stockings. Oh, the berries. You know, I never thought of that. That would have been a good idea, Tara. Here, I was assuming they were berries. I may totally be wrong. So, all right. So there we go. So we've got our Santa. I'm going to die cut this. Again, you'll definitely want to get a pack or 10 of this paper because it's awesome. Love liquid glue with a bottle with a super fine tip. How do you get it to come out? That's the thing I've always struggled with, is I struggle sometimes with the wider tip on it. If I can't imagine trying to, like, how much power it takes to squeeze out that little bit. So, all right, let me go die cut this. I will be off screen for a second. I'll be right back. Die we go. All right, so there we go. I've got my little St. Nicholas all cut out here. The other thing, I should grab this pack of paper and show you. Hold on, I will do that. The other thing to know about this paper is there is a Santa that's kind of in the middle. Oh, of course, these don't match up because I was chopping pieces off the edges. So there's a Santa that's in the middle of here. Maybe I totally cut them from, maybe if I go the other way around, I don't know. Anyway, the Santa in the middle, there we go, that's right. I had a minute. So the Santa in the middle does actually not have a die with him. If you want to fussy cut him out, you certainly can. But the nice thing about the way he's placed on this paper is that he's the one that you can chop in half so that you can fit it through your die cutting machine and be able to actually cut out all of the Santas that you can cut out on this paper. So that is one thing that I definitely give it like 10 thumbs up for, because sometimes either you're hacking around them or you're trying to figure out exactly where to cut the paper so you can minimize the chopping of the Santas in the middle and all that sort of thing. At least I stress out about things like that. So I loved that I could cut the Santa in half. Not that he's not handsome, but he didn't have a die, and you all know that I'm the world's worst fussy cutter. So he didn't have a die, so he got chopped. So, all right, so there we go. We've got our Santa die cut with the St. Nicholas dies. And I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we are going to stick him on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. There we go. And I'm going to use kind of a few more than I might normally if it was cardstock, just because the Designer Series paper is a little thinner. Whoops, almost had him stuck down there without wanting it in that spot. So the Designer Series paper is a little thinner, so I'm just trying to make sure that there are enough Stampin' Dimensionals to support the designer paper die cut so that it doesn't rip or sag or anything like that. And I do chop my dimensionals in half. If you like the whole ones, you get to use the whole ones if you want them. I like the half ones, so, I use the half. So then I'm just going to line up my Santa here and make it look like his feet are on the, what to me was the carpet on here. And he's standing kind of in front of the fireplace a little. And that's it. So like I said, it's super, super easy. Yeah, just a little glue in, a little die cutting, and it's done. The final thing that I added on the card front were a couple of the neutrals adhesive back sequins because, again, like I said, anything that makes stamping easy, adhesive backed, yes, done, sold. So there are, the colors I think are brown, gold, copper, and silver in this one, and I use the brown. It doesn't match exactly with the early espresso, but it was close enough. I thought it kind of pulled in all the colors together and added something a little sparkly with it. So. All right. You were debating on getting the set. See, I think you should, because you'll be sad if you don't get it. And yeah. So, then if you don't want to be sad, just go ahead and get it. And I know this catalog is a good one. There are lots and lots of good things in it. So I had no self-control. I will say that. You'll see that as I go through the projects, for this year, because there are lots of them. So, all right. So I've got Real Red ink and the sentiment for the inside of the card here, and got it inked up well. Hopefully I'll get it stamped straight. That's a little crookedy. We'll try it a second time and we'll pick which one looks best. Get all the gunk off there. I think I went the other way that time. I don't know. We'll call it good. All right. So this one says a simple letter sent to say thinking of you Christmas Day. So thought that was a nice little sentiment for the inside. And then I've got the little bag of goodies from Santa and early espresso ink, and we're going to stamp that in here. I've got a piece of Designer Series paper that I'm also going to stick on the bottom here. So I'm just going to sort of place it on. And the bag of toys is going to be down a little bit under well, it should be a little under. Yep, there we go. I just didn't want it to look like it was totally floating in midair. So there we go. We'll close that up. And then I'm going to stick on just another piece of the Designer Series paper that I used on the card front. Again, this is all from the Traditions of St. Nick pack. And this one, I don't know, it's probably 3/4 of an inch wide it's probably 4 1/4. I don't know exactly how wide I have it cut. Obviously it's more, it's more than the panel that I'm gluing it to, so that's all I really wanted. All right, make sure I got that on there fairly straight, stick it down, and then trim off the extra. There we go. Set that aside, and then we'll stick this on the inside of the card, and it's going to be all done for today. So, and Sherry, I'm just saying, I wouldn't even think about it, just go get it. Especially since it has the coordinating paper. That's actually what really sold me on it, is when I saw that there was paper that matched. I'm like, yep, sold, done. So, because apparently I did not stick that. There we go. I think we can wiggle it down a little bit. All right, got the white covered on the bottom. So there you go. That's it for the inside of the card. Going to fold it closed here and do a quick crease across the top. And that's it. So like I said, it's a really fun little bundle. I definitely think you should get it. Again, it's called St. Nicholas for the bundle. It's got stamp set and coordinating dies. And then don't forget to add on the Traditions of St. Nick Designer Series paper that matches with it, and that you can cut all the little St. Nicks out with your dies. So let me know if you have questions about this. All the details will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com, and I will link up directly to the blog post once it goes live around 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And until then, let me know if you have any questions on anything. And I see Robin posted a question saying, so you don't use the stickers on your stamps. Again, Robin, I am like the laziest stamper ever. And I have too many stamp sets. And it would take me forever to put the stickers on all of them. So no, I don't. I'll be honest and I'll say no, I don't. If I had more time and more energy, maybe I would do it, and not like 1,000 stamps to stick on mounts. I might do it, but I don't, just because I'm lazy, and they stick to the blocks without it. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. So thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate you being here. I'm glad that you're liking the card. I think you all should get the bundle and get a couple packs of the paper so you can die cut the little Santas. And yeah, let me know if you have questions. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. I'll plan to be back live here on my YouTube channel around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday, and then again next week, Tuesday, around 2 o'clock Eastern time. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and